So if you learned all legal and what's legal and local and oh, what about cigarette smoking? It's a full 2 hours. Can you smoke in your car? Can you smoke? I mean, that was just. We did that. Can you, if you have a pickup truck and you're on the back of the. Yeah. The moon is full. And, yeah, exactly. All right. So, good. The other day,
Good morning. We've got a lively group this morning. It's good to see such a large crowd here and welcome you to this month's edition of the Blinn Board meeting. I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. The Texas Government Code permits this Board of Trustees to meet in a closed executive session for the following reasons, among others: to consult with the college district's attorneys on matters deemed privileged by the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct or Government Code 551.071, to deliberate regarding real property under 551.072, a prospective gift under 551.073, certain personnel matters under 551.074, security devices or security audits under 551.076, and economic development negotiations under 551.087. If the board meets in a closed session, we will announce the particular section under which we will be doing so prior to initiating the closed portion of the meeting. We will move to the invocation and pledge. Today we have two students with us. For the invocation, we have Emily Cleverly. Emily spent the year at Blinn after transferring from Lone Star College. She plans to transfer to Stephen F. Austin State University in the fall and pursue a bachelor's degree in art with an emphasis in graphic design and a minor in marketing. In her free time, Emily enjoys drawing and all things art related, cooking, reading her Bible, and hanging out with her friends and family. She is honored to be involved in the Blinn Baptist Student Outreach as well as with the City of Brenham working in the Visitor Center. Welcome, Emily. And for the pledge, we've got Paulo Oreo. Paulo is a first-year student at Blinn College. He graduated from Carroll High School in 2023 and plans to pursue a 4-year degree in mechanical engineering. Paulo volunteers as a worship team member for Blinn's Baptist Student Outreach. He also serves his community through the Redeemer Church of Brenham, where he is a youth group leader and occasional worship team member. Paulo is employed as a private contractor for Brenham Firewood and Texas Tree Service, working with heavy equipment and gaining knowledge of basic machinery that hopefully he can improve one day as a mechanical engineer. Thank you guys for both being here. We'll have the invocation first.
Bow your heads with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather here today, students, faculty, administration, and esteemed board members, united by our shared commitment to the growth and well-being of our college. As we convene, we seek your guidance, wisdom, and grace. Lord, we thank you for the privilege of being part of this educational community. May our actions align with our mission. May our decisions reflect the values that define us. Bless our students, the heartbeat of our institution. May they find inspiration, resilience, and purpose within these walls. Grant them the courage to dream, the determination to learn, and the compassion to uplift one another. We lift our dedicated faculty and staff, the architects of knowledge and mentors to our students. May their passion ignite curiosity, their wisdom guide minds, and their kindness nurture hearts. Heavenly Father, bless our trustees. Their stewardship shapes our college's destiny. May they lead with integrity, vision, and commitment to excellence. Grant them the discernment as they navigate the path ahead. Lord, bind us together as a community. May our diversity be our strength, our shared purpose, our compass. Help us listen, collaborate, and build bridges that span generations and aspirations. We thank you for this day, for the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to contribute. May our efforts honor the legacy of those who came before us and pave the way for those who will follow. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your help this morning. Okay, looks like no one has signed up for public comment, so we will move into the report section of the agenda. The first report will be Chancellor's Hensley's administrative report.
Thank you, Chair Colcourse, and good morning, everyone. It's so good to see all of you. Trustees, I'd like to start talking about the Health Sciences Career Fair. Last month, Blinn hosted our second annual Health Sciences Career Fair at the Rellis Center, developed by Dean for Health Sciences, Michelle Trubenstein, Radiologic Technology Clinical Coordinator, Deborah Albritton, and Physical Therapist Assistant Program Director, Kelsey Mackey. This event featured 21 employers from across the state, and approximately 60 students attended. There we have the PowerPoint now. Let's pause for just a moment so you can see the photos. 3 radiological technology students who interviewed for jobs at the fair were hired, and 3 additional students received tentative offers pending their temporary licenses. The employers were very pleased with the event, and 2 initiated conversations about partnering with Blinn to provide new clinical rotation opportunities for our students, which is so important and so helpful because we're always looking for new clinical locations. Dean Trubenstein, won't you stand? And if you have any of staff here with you today, why don't you come forward? No, are you here? They're all in class. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give her a rounding applause? Dean, I love this event. It's so wonderful. And I think I'll just note for the board that you and I went to Austin and also with Layton a couple of years ago to testify to the Health Committee in Austin, in the Senate Committee, regarding the difficulty in finding clinical sites and the challenges of having the more students enter into our program and the limitations that are incumbent upon it because we don't have enough clinical rotation sites. We could put in more students, but we don't have the location. So not only did you kind of achieve 2 things with this one and hit a home run with both, you had the opportunity for employers to see our students and hire them immediately, and then the opportunity for new sites is really quite wonderful. So thank you again for your leadership and your whole team. We appreciate it and hope that you'll give them our best appreciation as well. Thank you. Well, trustees, let's move over to the facilities report. I'd like to share a brief update regarding our current construction projects. Now, on College Avenue, the sidewalk realignment, isn't that just gorgeous? I just have to say, such a pretty picture. So this is College Avenue, and the sidewalk realignment project is substantially complete, and the contractor is working on the punch list items. At the old main building, the replacement of the roof tiles and the repairs and the reappointing of the facades were completed over spring break, just finished. The contractor and the design team are now working on the closeout documents. I just think it looks beautiful, and I particularly enjoyed that evening shot that I wanted to note because I know you all see it a lot during the daytime, but the campus is so lovely at night with the new lighting that we put in throughout. I just think it's really, really attractive, so I'm glad you had an opportunity to see that. Well, let's move over to the Bryan Administration Building. Over there, the erection of the steel is complete, and the site paving for the roadway and the parking lot are nearing completion. The mechanical rough-ends and the framing for the wall have begun, and the relocation of the stoplight at Nash Street is now complete. The permanent power has been installed, and the coordination to relocate the permanent Suddenlink communication line is ongoing. Trustees, this deal is on schedule for completion in next February of 2025. Now, for the really great stuff, let's move to livestock judging. Trustees, the livestock judging team recently concluded its season by winning the prestigious Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo and climbing to #1 in livestockjudging.com's national 2-year college rankings. Blinn competed in 15 livestock judging contests this season, placing in the top 5 in each one of those events. In addition to Houston, the team placed first at the Oklahoma National Swine Registry Contest, the American Royal Livestock Judging Contest, the Griswold Cattle Classic, and the top-notch Collegiate Swine Judging Contest. Additionally, Devin Gaff and Kinsey Gardner were among 15 students across the nation who were named Academic All-Americans. We are joined today by Debbie Vavra, Dean for the Division of Arts, Kinesiology, and Agriculture. Debbie, I'd like to ask you if you would come forward. Would you please join us at the podium and introduce the coaching staff? And then either you or the coaching staff, I'd like for you all to introduce the team members in attendance, and then trustees will take a photo all together.
Thank you. Good morning. Chair Colcourse, Chancellor Hensley, members of the board, thank you so much for this opportunity to recognize a group that's very near and dear to my heart, the Blinn College Livestock Judging Team. And when I saw that they won Houston, I literally cried because I knew that that was so important to them, and they so badly wanted to win that and be ranked #1 in the nation. I would like to thank all of our faculty and staff at Blinn College for all that they do, Dr. Busicki, Dr. McBride, just everybody who comes together and allows this team to go out and travel and do all that they do so very, very well. In particular, I would like to thank Dr. Binky, the Assistant Dean for Agriculture, Bryce Mund, and then Roxanne Marburger, who is the glue that holds agriculture together over at Rankin, and especially our two main livestock judging coaches, Quest Newberry and Adrian Austin. They literally eat, sleep, and breathe livestock judging. They're two of the most competitive people I've ever met. I thought I was competitive until I met them, and they're really something else, and we are so blessed to have them. At this time, I'm going to ask that Adrian Austin come forward. She is our livestock judging coach and red shirt coordinator, and she just completed her second season with the livestock judging team, and so she's going to give you a little bit more information.
Well, thank you, Dean. And I do just want to say that Ms. Vavra actually helped us several times listening to reasons. And so whenever she talks about crying after this team won Houston, that's because she also had a great effort put in. And so just to start with, I'd like to say good morning and thank you so much for having us. Addressing the board specifically, we travel very heavily with these students over their 2 years at Blinn College. We have several students that come to Texas from out of state to be members of this livestock judging team, and we would be completely unable to do that and award them those opportunities without the support and the effort that you all provide to us. And so on behalf of the entire livestock judging team and the ag department as a whole, we'd like to say thank you so much for your continuous support, because truly because of you all we're able to do what we do every day. And I love my job, and so I'm very thankful for that and thankful for all that you do for us. And so I will take just a moment of your time, if you don't mind, to share a few stats. I know the Chancellor already shared some, and I thank you for that, and just to kind of dive into that a little deeper. And so you'll have to excuse me. I do have a few stats here on paper, so if you see me looking down, I want to make sure I accurately portray those, because this has been an awesome group to work with. To start with, I'll introduce our 2023 and 2024 sophomore livestock judging team. In no particular order here, we have 17 students total, and 2 are actually absent today. They had to be out for other reasons, but I will recognize them at the end as well. And so just to go through it in no particular order, I'll have the students stand up to be recognized. We have Miss Tana Teal of Burton, Texas, Cassie Jo Bennett of Midland, Texas, Justin Spees of Woodsboro, Texas, Kinsey Gardner of Gatesville, Texas, Xander Ivy of Bloomingburg, Ohio, Steele Kinney of Llano, Texas, Blaine Warnkin of Schulenburg, Texas, Holly Alderson of Seguin, Texas, Brooke Bimslager of Schertz, Texas, Dylan Hartman from Cuero, Texas, Weston Hinsey, also of Burton, Texas, Bryson Stone from Tahoka, Texas, Brooke Poole from Anahuac, Texas, Dax Delosier of Adair, Oklahoma, Caden Alexander of Waller, Texas, Samuel Belt is also on the team, and Devin Gaff. Samuel Belt's from Gatesville, Texas, and Devin Gaff from Churubusco, Indiana. And so those are the 2 that were absent this morning, but we did have several out-of-state students. And so I want to say thank you to all of them for getting dressed up this morning in their livestock judging contest clothes and joining us. And just addressing the board specifically, I'd like to say, as a coach, how proud I am of this group, and hopefully you all can be very proud too, because they've displayed really great passion for the agricultural industry, for Blinn College, and livestock judging as a whole this year, and also dedicated it to a purpose. And so I had the privilege of starting with them 2 years ago on their first day that they arrived on campus, and we practiced very heavily for a week actually before school starts. And thank you all for allowing us to come back early and do that with them. And they dedicated themselves for a purpose for 2 years of being extremely competitive, and they had the goals of winning a national contest in mind. And so they achieved that, and we'll talk briefly about that in a moment of some of the success that they had. But most importantly, I know that each of them is going to be a very impressive alumni and be able to represent Blinn College very positively as they move forward in their lives, and hopefully look back on this experience with a lot of love and joy in their hearts for the time that they spent here. And so a little bit about the team's success as a group. This is truly the most competitive Blinn livestock judging team in the past 10 years. And so I'm very proud of them for that, and they've represented Blinn College very well. Just to share some stats that are impressive in our minds, 5 individuals were named high individual overall over this past year during their sophomore season throughout their contests that they judged in. As we mentioned, this group also fielded 2 academic All-Americans, which is based on the merits of their livestock judging, but also their academic success, and those were Kinsey Gardner and Devin Gaff. And so that was very exciting to have 2 of the 15 chosen across the country to represent Blinn College. Over the past 2 years, throughout freshman and sophomore livestock judging contests, this team was named the champion team overall 10 different times on 10 different occasions. And so they worked together flawlessly as a group and performed at a very, very high level. But most impressively, maybe, I tallied this up just this morning, across their 2 years at Blinn freshman and sophomore livestock judging contests, this group had 65 different top 10 individual overall finishes. And those were different students, 65 different times they were named to the top 10 individuals overall at judging contests. And that's a pretty hard feat to accomplish. And so we're very, very proud of them for that. Also, they were the only team in the country to win 2 of the 5 national contests that we attend. And so they truly had a great year, and that was concluded, as we mentioned, by winning Houston, and the other national contest was the American Royal in Kansas City, Missouri. And as we mentioned, the livestockjudging.com rankings that are compiled throughout the year ended with them being ranked #1 in the country. And so we're very proud of that, and we take success very seriously here, and we worked very hard for that for 2 years. But perhaps most importantly, and more important than the success and what we'll remember, we talk about this from day one, and you guys have maybe heard this from Quest Newberry before, I know, when he came a couple years ago with the team that had also won Houston. We talk about 3 things a lot over in the ag department with our teams and as we prepare for competitive events, and that's being, we focus on 3 main pillars. We want to make good students, good people, and also good judges. But if they cannot be good people and they're not accomplishing, the good student aspect of that, and they're not accomplishing the good judging aspect of that, what we mainly focus on is becoming great people as a whole. And their efforts and how they do things, how they do one thing, we often say, is how they do everything. And so if they're being good students, if they're being good judges, then hopefully we're making great people as well. And truly, that's our main focus. We want to make sure that we continue to do that so we have positive alumni for Blinn College moving forward. And so I can confidently say that we have 15 great people present with us, 17 on the team that I know will continue to make a great impact as they move forward and represent Blinn College very well. And so we're proud of this group, and we thank you so much for having us, and we appreciate your time very much. Thank you very much for having us.
Trustees, I know it might be a little tight, but I'd love to take a photo with everyone, so we may need to tighten up a little. But if you don't mind, Debbie and team and coaches, everyone from the livestock judging, would you come forward to the middle, and we'll try to take a photo together with Rich Bray.
All right. I will count to three, and 1, 2, 3, and just one more time. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
I'm going to do part of the presentation over here today. Trustees, I am so thrilled to introduce our Region 14 women's basketball team, and they won the Region 14 women's basketball championship, and they had another appearance at nationals to celebrate. And so if you can look at the photo there's our wonderful team. They wanted to be here today, but we have mostly freshmen on our team, and they're in class today. And we have a couple of sophomores. I think one is here and one is not feeling well this morning. But I'm just so excited to talk to you about this group for just a moment. So last Saturday on March the 16th, Blinn's women's basketball team won the Region 14 tournament with an 84-70 win over Trinity Valley. And then with that win, Blinn qualified for our third consecutive, I underscore and underline, consecutive NJCAA national tournament. This is the first time in program history that Blinn has made the 3 consecutive trips to nationals, so quite another accomplishment for Blinn. Now, Blinn was defeated in the opening round of the NJCAA tournament by Wyoming's Casper College, but we finished our season with a 24-10 record. The national tournament was very thrilling. We played against Casper, home team. They have an amazing arena, something to really wish for, to have such a nice arena in such a small town. But it was in the round, and the entire seating was full. But there was the Blinn team and me and a couple of other people, and we made up the difference in sound by cheering loudly for our Blinn wonderful ladies. Trustees, I've asked Coach Jenkins to come forward this morning and be here, and I'd like to ask him if he would just like to make a couple of remarks. He is such an outstanding coach. There he is again in the picture, cutting down the championship win at the regional conference, 3 times to the national tournament in a row. Congratulations, Coach Jenkins, and would you come forward at this time? You can use either mic you prefer.
Okay. God, I look old. Let me introduce my assistant first. This is Jasmine Johnson. She's from Louisiana. I hired her through a Zoom call. She was in Germany in the Air Force. She got out on a Thursday, left Germany, and was at our team meeting by Sunday. So I can't thank her enough for all she's done for this program. This is Jasmine Jackson, spelled the same way. She's a sophomore. She was an academic All-American last year. She'll be an academic All-American this year. And she's got a good chance. I think she's leaning towards getting a full scholarship to St. Edward's University. Awesome. So we want to thank the chancellor. Over spring break, she came to our regional tournament at Tyler when she could have been on vacation, and then somehow she made her way to Casper. It's the hardest place in America to get to. But our team, she showed so much leadership to our team and support to our team, our young women, and we wanted to give her the game ball from the Tyler Regional. So go give it to her. Thank you for your support. Thank you. I do want to say one thing. You're a great speaker. I do want to say one thing to the board and to all the leaders. I have 15 former players playing Division I and Division II right now. A lot of those kids are lower economic, first-generation college students, and they were not highly recruited. And Blinn College gave them an opportunity, and now those 15 young ladies will begin their bachelor's really soon. Jasmine will be getting a full ride to St. Edwards. Our other sophomore will be getting a full ride to Texas Southern. The opportunity, I know y'all have meetings all the time, and you may not see the difference you're making, but you're changing lives one at a time, and I get to see it, but I want y'all to know how important Blinn has been to a lot of young women the last 22 years. So thank y'all.
Can I get you guys to step up just a little bit? All right, I will count to three, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
I'm getting in my steps today. Except I just missed one paper. Excuse me just a moment. Thank you. Thank you. Now, do we just still have, okay. Trustees, we have 3 retirees this month. One of them is here. 2 of them may be coming still. And Chair Colcourse has agreed that if they should come in a little late, then between the agenda items, we'll recognize them at that time. But I'd like to recognize Residence Hall Coordinator William Delaney. Won't you come forward, please? Just have a stand right over there by Dr. Krausen. William, thank you so much for coming this morning. We really appreciate it. Trustees, William has been a Residence Hall Coordinator with Blinn since August of 2008. Matthew Glaze, Director of Housing Operations, said, quote, William has worked tirelessly to ensure that our residence halls provided second homes to countless students. He was instrumental in developing programs that supported our students academically, socially, and personally. And he understood that our mission was not just about providing a place to stay, but by nurturing our students. William, we want to thank you so very much for all that you have done at Blinn, for all of our students for these last 16 years. On behalf of the entire Blinn College Board of Trustees and all of our faculty and staff and administration, we thank you so very much. You have been at the forefront, at the direct line in helping so many students. I can't even imagine how many, actually over 16 years. So when Coach Jenkins talks about the impact that we have on individuals' lives, and sometimes we don't see it directly, you had the opportunity to see some of that. And I know that they and their families will be forever grateful for your kindness and your loving spirit that you provided for them while they were here at Blinn. And I know our trustees would like to thank you also, William, so they'd like to stand. And if you would just go across the dais, they'll be happy to shake your hand and say a word to you. And then afterward, we'll take a photo. They're all here. William, we're going to take a photo. And Chair Colcourse.
William is someone who lived in one of these residence halls on campus way back in the day. You probably certainly earned your retirement. So thank you for all that you've done for Blinn College, and we wish you the very best in your retirement.
William, would you like to say anything or introduce anyone who's here with you today?
Well, the front row here is, I've known them for quite a while. These are the housing staff. So.
Well, y'all go ahead and introduce them and stand up.
Okay, we have Ashley Young, Georgianne, Matthew, you know, Miss Cinda, Myron, and I'm sorry, I don't. No, I just snuck in. Okay. Academic side of the house. These are my many bosses. No, ma'am.
Well, thank you so very much, and we'll take a photo at this time.
three, and one, two, three, and one, two, three. Perfect, thank you.
The person who snuck in was Dr. April Kincaid. And I know that she's here to cheer you on. I understand that a couple of our other trustees, that they have arrived, so let me go ahead and ask Patricia Wilson if she would come forward. There she is. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Patricia. Come on, we'll just have you come right over here and stand right over here. All righty. Well, trustees, I'd like to introduce Patricia Wilson. She's our testing specialist, and thank you so very much for coming this morning. We're so tickled that you could be here. Trustees, Patricia has been with Blinn since October 8th of 2007, when she joined our staff as a telephone information specialist. In 2010, Patricia became a parking and ID specialist, and in 2012, she joined our enrollment services team as an admissions and records clerk. In 2016, Patricia became a testing specialist. Samantha Johnson, Director of Disability Services and Counseling, said the following, quote, "Patricia Wilson is an exceptional employee and a wonderful person. Her dedication to Blinn and the students she served is unmatched. She truly loves providing student support during their tenure at Blinn. Trish is kind, gracious, and brings laughter wherever she goes. Our office will miss her tremendously, and there is not enough time to share all of her wonderful attributes. Patricia, thank you for all that you have done in various roles for your past 17 years at Blinn College. They've had such an impact on so many students, and the opportunity for so many of us to have the opportunity to work with you and know you in various capacities through your tenure here. Trustees, I know that you would like the opportunity to thank Patricia and to congratulate her on retirement. So if you would please stand, and Patricia, if you would just have the opportunity to go across in the front of each of them, and they'd like to shake your hand and congratulate you. Come stand here. Patricia, in the middle as always. Aren't you always in the middle of everything, Patricia?
Patricia, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, thank you so much for your 17 years of service to Blinn. We wish you the very best in your retirement, and we've got a small token of our appreciation.
Patricia, do you have anyone here with you that you'd like to introduce or anything you'd like to say?
Sure. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Once again, I just thank you so much for the recognition and for the honor. And it has been an honor to work here at Blinn, this Blinn family. I've met a group of wonderful people. I've enjoyed pretty much every position I've had. I just cannot say that there was a position that I hated. You know, there were some things that I didn't like to do. But you know, the people, it's the people. It's about the people, and they get you through those things that you don't like to do, you know, and they're there to help you. And so I've really enjoyed, you know, my time here at Blinn College. And I have with me today, I want to introduce my best friend. She's kind of shy, so she may, but this is my BFF from way back, Deborah Johnson. So, you know, thank her for hanging with me today. We have been through thick and thin, ups and downs, you know, so that's my sister from another mother, all right? Okay, thank you so much once again, and, you know, good morning once again to everyone, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
And one, two, three, and one more time. One, two, three. Thanks.
And trustees, next, I would like to ask Eva Hakakia, who's our Learning Sister Assistant, to step forward. Hi, Eva. If you would just come right over here. Thank you. So glad you could join us this morning, Eva. It's so good to see you. Trustees, Eva has been with Blinn since November of 2006. Dale Mommer, director of the Bryan Campus Learning Center, said the following quote, Eva's commitment to the Learning Center and to Blinn College has been nothing short of remarkable. Over the years, she has been a pillar of support, guidance, and wisdom, not just to the students she directly helped, but also to the entire staff. Her ability to connect with students, to understand their needs, and to provide the right encouragement and resources has had a profound impact on countless individuals, and her passion for education has truly set a standard for excellence. Eva, thank you for all that you have done for 18 years at Blinn College. Your presence is going to be missed. You have had such an impact over so many students for so many years. And again, I'm going to refer to Coach Jenkins's comments earlier when he was talking about the fact that we never know what impact we have on students. So again, for 18 years and all of the students that you assisted in helping them achieve higher abilities within their academic program is attributable to you and to so many like you. So 18 years of tremendous service to Blinn, we so greatly appreciate. I know each of our trustees would like to shake your hand and thank you as well. Won't you please stand and we'll take a photo afterwards, Eva.
Eva, we've got a little token of Blinn's appreciation for the service that you've given to our students all these years. We truly wish you the very best in your retirement. Thank you.
Eva, do you have anyone here with you this morning you'd like to introduce? And also, is there anything you'd like to say?
My husband is here with me. It was an honor to work with all the talented people of Blinn. And thank you very much. Like, I'm entering a different part of my life, and I'm also moving from Texas. So I want everybody to wish me good luck.
Well, everybody wish her good luck. Eva, where are you moving to?
My family, my son, my grandbaby.
There it is. The truth be known, it's always the grandchildren, isn't it, Eva? Well, you're going to have a great wife to be home with and grandchildren to be around. It'll be a blessed life, won't it? Thank you so very much. Congratulations, and we'll take a photo now.
And we'll count to three, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
Congratulations to you all again. Trustees, thank you so much for the opportunity to share the successes of our wonderful livestock students, our fantastic basketball ladies, women's basketball team, and all of our 3 retirees this morning. They do such a great job, each and every one of them. We'll just reflect for a moment on the wonderful impact that they've had at the college and the reflection that they have given so positively to this institution. For that, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so very much, and this concludes my report, Chair Colkhorst.
Thank you, Chancellor Hensley. I tell you what, being a national champion is a big deal. It's a hard thing to accomplish in any endeavor, and congratulations to you guys.
And if I just might say, I think they would like to go ahead and leave, Chair Colkhorst. So they're just looking for a cue from me. Is now the time, because they're half out of their seats, but they're not sure if they can actually leave.
Yeah.
So I'm going to relieve them of that anxiety and just go ahead and go for it now. And there's food in the kitchen and drinks in the refrigerator. And if I think the chair will pause for about 30 seconds or so just to let you all leave. Again, thank you so very much.
I think that they didn't want to. Oh, yeah. Great representation for our college. Yeah. Okay, well, I think that we can move on to the next item in the agenda, which is the presentation of financial statement package for period ended February 29th, 2024. Dr. Burton.
Good morning, trustees and Dr. Hensley. I just want to go over the fiscal results for April 2nd, for the April 2nd meeting. This data is from February 29th. That's 50% of the year. Looking at the topics that we'll cover during this presentation: unrestricted cash and cash equivalents, revenues, expenditures, financial results, and then observations. Talking about unrestricted cash and cash equivalents. As of the end of February, we had almost $138 million. The breakdown of that is $60 million in unrestricted revenues, or unrestricted reserves, I'm sorry. And then we have funding for current projects of $31 million and funding available for additional projects of $46 million. Looking into that breakdown even more, $42 million is our operating reserve. $15 million, it goes to capital projects and deferred maintenance for a total of $59 million. Then the biggest part of our $31 million reserve is $26 million for the Bryan project, which is coming down from the $28 million. We're slowly spending that one down. And then we have a reserve of $5 million for land purchases. So this gives us a total of $31 million in that bucket of information or cash. And then last, we have $46 million available for new projects. Looking how our cash changed, we got $16 million from various sources for financial aid. We received $5.2 million from students and payments. We issued refunds to students of the financial aid of $9.8 million to give us a net of $11.9 million or $12 million. Looking at cash from other, our state appropriations was $8.1 million. Now, trustees, keep in mind that the payment for state appropriations is now 1/2 in the fall, 1/4 in the spring, and 1/4 in the summer. And so this past February, we got 1/4 of our appropriation. Interest is $500,000. That's well above what we've budgeted again going forward. We're in a positive interest rate environment. Then we have other additional funding sources to bring us to $9 million. Looking at our expenses, we spent $6.1 million in payroll, $2.3 million in accounts payable, $1.8 million in construction and R&R. And then Servitas, we made a payment that passed through the college of $1.6 million. We collect the money from the students and then we forward it on to Servitas for a total of $12 million. Putting the three together in aggregate, we get net cash of $12 million coming in from students, $9 million received from other sources, and then we put out $12 million from other uses. So that gives us $8.9 million new cash for the month of February. We had a decrease in our local bank, but we still were able to increase our investment pool. Going forward, looking at our revenues, our state appropriations, this is on an accrual basis. The cash basis is actually more positive. Looking down, our tuition and fees is above where it was last year. And our interest is another point of interest that we were $2.9 million this year compared to $1.5 million last year. So we're at $80 million in revenue, $81 million roughly this time. And in prior year, we were at $73 million. So we've got a real positive change from that. Most of that is from the increase in state appropriations. Looking at a percentage of our revenues, you can see state appropriations has increased as a percentage. That's because of the additional state funding. And then our tuition and fees has decreased as a percentage because of our state funding. Looking through, again, our state appropriations, actual versus budget, our state appropriations, 26.4 is what we budgeted. Our total appropriation using the accrual method is 16.3 million. So we are at 61% of our budget at 50% of the year. Tuition and fees, we budgeted 75 million. Our total tuition is 47 million. Comparing our budget where we are at this time of the year, we're at 62%. Again, above 50%. Tuition revenue out of district is still the lion's share of the revenue that the institution earns. And then general fees have slowly crept up compared to prior years. Looking at our budget in housing and food service, the total revenue is $66.8 million compared to our budget. We're at 59%, again at 50% of the year. And keep in mind, our budget includes 4 buildings that will be demolished during the coming year. So that budget is a little bit overstated. Again, looking at auxiliary services, housing has gone down. That's to be expected as people go off to the P3s. But our food service has increased because we're benefiting from the P3s coming back. And you can see the recovery since COVID is coming along nicely. Expenditures, our salaries and benefits, our total operating expenses, we are at 65 million. We're up 3 million from last year, but we're below budget. Our allocation of revenue dollars, most of our revenue is going towards payroll expenses. The main thing here is that our debt service is going down as a percentage of our revenue because we paid off a bond last year, although it will stay steady for the foreseeable 7 to 8 years. Our salary and benefits, our expenses have increased by category except for debt service, which is, again, expected as we increased our budget this year. Instruction is the lion's shares of our expenses, which is a positive thing for an institution. Looking at our financial results, our revenues, as we mentioned earlier, were $81 million. Our expenses are $64 million, $65 million. So we have a net positive of $16 million. Comparing to where we were last year we were positive $11 million at this time compared to $16 million. So we have a net increase of $4.4 million to the positive. Observations, the college is in good financial position. Our revenues are beating budget. Our expenses are under budget. And our net is to the positive. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looks good. We will now move on to the consent portion of our agenda. All items listed in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted upon one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent and considered in discussion and possible action. Trustees receive agenda materials in advance of the meeting to prepare for the business to be conducted. On the consent agenda, we have approval of minutes of February 20th, approval of minutes for February 28th, and ratification of employment contracts for Executive Council employees for fiscal year 2024-25. I would entertain a motion. Trustee Kettler makes the motion. Trustee Wells seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. We will now move on to discussion of possible action items. First item on the agenda is request for authorization to opt in to financial aid for Swift Transfer Dual Credit Program. Mr. Schubert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Hensley, fellow board members. Great to be with you all this morning. You've heard the presentation about the FAST program, which is a part of House Bill 8. We'll go through this because you've given us the indication you'd like to opt into that program for the fall of 2024. Just want to provide a little bit of information on that as we make that decision. Trustees, once again, you're aware of the FAST program. It does allow some financial aid for swift transfer, as they call it. And what it definitely says is it separates students into two different categories. You have students who are what we call FAST eligible, and what that means is they've been deemed to be reduced or free lunch over the past 4 years at their ISD or high school level, and that makes them FAST eligible. And then the students that are not in that category are what we call non-FAST eligible students. So the summary of House Bill 8 regarding to FAST is if you're a FAST eligible student, there is no charge for taking dual credit courses from the college. What happens is the college gets reimbursed for those students from the state. We'll talk about the reimbursement here shortly and a change that has occurred in that here recently. And then for the non-FAST students, if you do opt into FAST, it also limits what you can charge non-FAST students a maximum tuition rate. The current rate is $55 per semester credit hour. Once again, I'll talk about a slight change on that here recently. But just so everybody knows, if you opt into FAST, the FAST eligible students cannot be charged anything for tuition and fees. The non-FAST students also have a maximum tuition rate of $55 per semester credit hour, which has recently changed, and we'll go ahead and talk about that a little bit now. As you know, the rulemaking for this is still going on. They're still setting the final rules for next year. And part of what has been decided by the coordinating board is they set originally was the $55 per semester credit hour. What the state has done is they've built in a multiplier. They can review that figure every single year, and based on inflation and other figures, they can change that dollar figure. So $55 was the original amount for this current year. The coordinating board has stated that that will be increasing to $56.87 will be the per semester credit hour reimbursement rate for FAST eligible students. Trustees, we also discovered in discussions with the coordinating board yesterday that when that rate goes up, the reimbursement rate for FAST eligible students, that also raises the maximum tuition rate you can charge for non-FAST eligible students. So what we're looking at, trustees, that becomes effective in the fall of 2024. So what we'll be looking at today here is an action item that I'll explain here shortly, but it will be to opt in to the FAST program for the fall of 2024 at the rate of $56.87 or whatever going rate that the coordinating board has set for that particular time. Our wonderful financial group with Dr. Burton has taken a look at the FAST program from a financial perspective. They weighed whether we opt in or opt out. And what that impacts on our revenue and tuition. And based on the rates we've seen from the coordinating board, that is a net zero impact on revenues. It's basically the same with that reimbursement rate we get from the state versus what we were charging now for current dual credit. So there will be more than likely a net revenue, a net to zero impact on revenue by joining and opting into FAST. I do want to mention again the expenses at the second part of the slide. One of the requirements of FAST is those FAST eligible students are not allowed to not only charge them tuition and fees, they cannot also have any expense to take dual credit courses. So in talking with the coordinating board, just want to remind the Board of Trustees, in talking with the coordinating board, we had an example of if there is an online dual credit student, and we do have certain students who are fully online at Blinn, a small portion of our dual credit students. If they need a laptop or internet or any of those sort of equipment to access those courses, that cannot fall on the shoulders of the students. The provision of the laptop or the internet or whatever sort of technology they need has to be worked out between the college and the ISD themselves. So we've already started engaging our ISD partners. Once you mentioned to us at the last meeting that you were interested in opting in, we've already started with our dual credit office talking with our ISDs about the transition to FAST, how that looks, how we're going to share expenses. I would be happy to report that all of those conversations are going very well, but those conversations are occurring in the background, and we'll continue to have those with the official opt-in to FAST today. So once again, trustees, we're asking for an action item that we officially opt into FAST for the fall of 2024 at $56.87 per semester credit hour, or whatever the going rate is that the coordinating board sets through the rulemaking process. Happy to answer any questions.
I'm sorry. So the expenses, right now, y'all are still in discussion. Is it going to be a mutual agreement between the district and Blinn, or is Blinn covering?
Yes, ma'am. So it'll be a mutual agreement between the districts. Right now, the setup we have with districts depends on the school district and the memorandum that we have with that. The $205,000 figure that you're looking there is a worst-case scenario. What Dr. Burton ran, because he likes to be as fiscally conservative as he possibly can, what he ran was if every single student at Blinn that is an fully online student would need a laptop, would need internet access, we calculated out how much that would cost for that set of student if the college paid all of it. That's the $205,000 figure. That will not be the case in reality. We have a very small set of students who are fully online. You can also offer access to your computer labs on campus and those sort of things as a part of that. But we have a very small set of students who are fully online. This would be if the college paid for all of that. That will not be the case. This is just a worst-case scenario. As those negotiations occurring with the ISDs, all going positive, many ISDs are already providing laptops for students currently.
Because that's what I was wondering, because it seems like they're going to need it for home use, even though you have access to the labs.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mr. Schubert, so from the standpoint of the benefit to Blinn College in enrolling in the FAST program, with the new legislative budgeting formula, what benefit do we potentially stand to receive by having more students involved in dual credit?
We anticipate by joining FAST, it's going to be removing some of those financial barriers for certain students and certain ISDs. We do anticipate an increase in dual credit enrollment. There's a lot of interest around ISDs about the FAST program. Those conversations are going quite well, and we've actually had some conversations with ISDs we don't currently provide services to who may want to get in on those services based on the FAST eligibility. So very well received, very positively received from our ISDs. We do anticipate an increase based on this, which will not only help the students have access, but of course that if they're FAST eligible, that will be reimbursed additional money from the state for those FAST eligible students, and also more students coming in, even if they're non-FAST eligible, who we were not getting tuition from because they were not part of our dual credit program, we would be getting that new tuition rate for those non-FAST eligible students that would come into this. We anticipate an increase in enrollment.
In addition, Mr. Schubert, I believe we'd also benefit from House Bill 8 as we got additional credits, if those students were to get 15 hours.
Yes, that's the second. Go ahead, Dr. Hensley.
Thank you. I just going to add that. So thank you very much, both very much. A couple of points I think the trustees may be interested in. One, as of last fall, 37 of the 50 community colleges are participating in FAST. Anticipate that more, if not all, will be participating by next fall. Secondly, and more directly to Chair Kilcore's question, I'd like for you to reflect just a moment again on the caveats of House Bill 8, remembering that if a student completes as a dual credit student at Blinn in 15 hours, then we get additional funding under the new state formula for House Bill 8. So by virtue of the fact that we can now afford the students the affordability, so to speak, of being able to take dual credit students while they're at Blinn, then we should see an increase in the number of students overall, both FAST and non-FAST students who are taking dual credit, and hopefully the completion of 15 hours. So that's a direct tie on Blinn's efforts, and with your support, then I think that we will have more students participate in dual credit, which will give us more funding, if you look at it from the financial point of view, from the state under House Bill 8. The third thing that I would add is that once they come to Blinn, there's a greater chance that if they take dual credit at Blinn, they will actually enroll into Blinn. That brings up the second point of House Bill 8 then. If they are at Blinn and they take 15 hours, non-dual credit, but 15 regular credit hours as a regular student and transfer to a four-year institution, then again, Blinn qualifies for additional funding under House Bill 8. Fourth thing, recognizing that Blinn is the highest transfer institution of community colleges in the state of Texas at almost a 49% transfer rate, you can see then the pathway that is so important. And so this starts at the base level of having the affordability for students, both FAST and non-FAST students, to qualify, take 15 hours of dual credit, hopefully transfer to Blinn, take 15 hours at Blinn of regular credit and transfer, all has a financial impact to the positive for Blinn.
Great. That's what I was looking for. Okay. I would entertain a motion that the board authorize the administration to opt into the financial aid for Swift Transfer FAST Dual Credit Program for the fall 2024 semester.
So moved.
That's, Reverend Trustee Wells, whatever you answer to.
Second.
Trustee Benke, second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the presentation of proposal for tuition and fees for fiscal year 2024-2025. Dr. Burton.
Again, good morning. This is talking about the tuition and fees that we've had that discussion. This will be our third time going over this. Rolling through the slide presentation. Our budget planning process consists of planning the process in November to December, gathering data in January, February, and then presenting to the board for board review and board approval in the March, June timeframe. Keep in mind, today's discussion is merely on the tuition and fee portion of it. In addition, any expenses that are to be discussed will be coming up in a further meeting. All right, this is where we are. We're at the April 2nd regular board meeting. The emphasis of today is the tuition and fees and how it fits into the larger scheme of things. Again, the cash data we presented earlier, that we are in a healthy cash balance. And our outstanding debt is slowly coming down, or steadily coming down. Our debt service will remain the same for the next 8 years, and then we'll pay off one particular bond, and then we'll go down for another 10 or so years. Our revenues, every year, we have exceeded the budget of our revenues. This year, with House Bill 8, the point of emphasis is that we got $6.2 million in new cash. We'll get updated committee rules in 2025, in mid-April. In 2025, our proposed tuition and fees are, keeping in mind that Blinn is the most dependent on tuition and fees of any community college in the state of Texas. The tuition and fee budget is based on 377 semester credit hours and this is actual numbers for spring 23, summer 23, and fall 23. Looking at it, if Blinn were to add $1 for in-district credit hour, $1 for out-of-district credit hour, and $1 for non-resident, plus $3 in fees for every credit hour, this would give us $1.4 million in additional revenue. Looking at it in a more detailed approach, the in-district fee would go up to $64 per credit hour. The out-of-district tuition would go up to $123 per credit hour, and non-resident would be $279 per credit hour, and the general fee would be $80 per credit hour. So what this would amount to, no matter which group you fall into, would be a $4 per credit hour increase. Looking at a 12-hour tuition, you can see that that would turn into being a $48. It would be 3 times 12, $36 for tuition, and then an additional. I'm struggling here. 1 second. Let me get my math together. It is $36 in tuition, and then $12. I'm sorry, $12 in tuition and $36 in fee for a total of $48. Thank you. Okay, the housing budget is being adjusted because of the 4 dorms that are coming offline. So we're going to reduce our budget down by $400,000 because of those loss of 4 dorms. And that would be a net decrease of $380,000. Our meal plans, looking to increase it by 1%, and that would be an increase of merely $14,000 in revenue. Looking through, our operating expenses have been consistently under budget every year since 2019. Salary information, the estimated cost of a 1% increase across the board would be $606,000. For longevity, we're looking at $400, and this is just preliminary data. And then today, we're not settling salaries. This is just more of a discussion about what it would take to fund tuition to keep our budget balanced. Looking through course testing fees, these are testing fees for courses that are basically passed through. We are paying a vendor to provide these services to our students, and our students can take advantage of their financial aid to pay for these prep courses. It's the same thing along these courses in the health sciences. Looking forward, we are also removing course fees for courses that no longer exist. Coming forward, looking at the 2025 budget impact, an increase in state appropriations, one in district, $1 in district, $1 out of district, and $1 non-resident would give us a $1.4 million increase. We're looking at the adjustment to the housing from the dorms coming offline, and then we have an increase in food service that gives us $7.3 million. Looking at the expenses, the only variable that we don't have a solid answer on is pay increases, but throughout, no matter what, we anticipate a balanced budget putting those items together. So any questions about the proposal?
I did have a question,
Ma'am?
but I'm good with the tuition and stuff, but I was looking at the proposed housing rates and the meal plans, and we're going up on the number of meal plans, 19 meals per week meal plans, but down on the others, and our number of meal plans would equal our number of beds. Grand total of beds is 1840. Our number of meal plans would also be 1840. Is that all the beds available, or is that what we expect to have occupied?
I'll ask to come, Ms. Beckendorf, when we calculated the beds that we used for calculating the meal plan, that included all, and I'm saying internal residents plus the P3s, because there's a mandatory purchase of the meal plan.
Right, it's mandatory that the students purchase the meal plan, but when we're looking at housing rates, we're only looking at Blinn-owned housing as far as revenue. Is that the question? I'm sorry.
But like in the apartments, are you required to do the 19 meals if you're in the apartment, or
No,
can you do
ma'am.
the 11? You can go smaller.
Okay. The 11 meal plan is for the apartment. They're the only ones that can have the smaller meal plan, but they can have the option for any of the 3 meal plans if you're in the apartments. If you're in a regular dorm, you have the option of the 14 or 19 meals. You do not have the option of the 11.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we expect us to occupy 1,840 beds and have 1,840 meal plans with that. That's the expectation, but we have more beds available than that. How do we get our?
That's a typo, I'm sorry. I just realized that that's a typo. There's not in the calculation, but it's, are you talking about, wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can
Okay. No, we can look at it later.
Well,
I'm happy with all the tuition stuff. I'm really good. But I just got stumped looking at this for just a little bit. It's all good.
Just to make sure we're clear, we have the 2001 beds, and I assume you're looking at the slide that's titled Auxiliary Proposed Meal Plan Rates?
My paper must have something different.
Page 58 in the agenda.
My paper doesn't have that number.
Here.
Okay, and so you have grand total 1,840 beds.
Yes,
and then,
sir.
And then we went over to the next page, which is the meal plans. We went to 1,840 beds, so we were looking at the wrong column. So
1,840 plans, yes.
yes, okay,
For
yes, that's
2025, yeah.
correct.
Layton,
And then,
did you want to add something, Layton?
Trustees, if you look on page 59 of your packet, on the FY24 plans, you're going to see a total per semester of 2,001.
True.
If you continue over to the right, on the FY25 plans, you'll see 1,840. Of course, the discrepancy there is we're removing 4 dorms from campus, so reducing the total number of beds on campus by removing those 4 dorms. That's why the number of 2001 in FY24 is larger than the number of 1,840 on FY25, because after the removal of those 4 dorms, which is what's being calculated in 1,840, we will have 1,840 beds on campus once we remove those 4 dorms. That's including our dorms and P3.
So we're taking that, we'd sell all of them in this,
Yes.
and that may not be the case. So that revenue may not be, Or is it-
All of our people are, there is mandatory food plans when you get a dorm.
yes, sir.
I think what the trustee is asking is what occupancy percentage are we budgeting for?
Not all of them, correct?
I think you do 80
Because we
something,
don't.
right?
Okay,
82%.
thank you.
So 82%. This is just, trustees, thank you, we're getting there. 1840 is the total number of beds. However, on our budgeting, we budget for 82% occupancy, not 100% occupancy, so we have that wiggle room depending on what that does across the year. So we do not budget for 100% occupancy, we budget for 82% occupancy to make sure that we're being conservative in our budgeting and our forecasting.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing.
I apologize.
Thank you, trustee Benke.
Trustee Wells.
I just want to first thank you for the presentation, and two, just remind us that one of the big core values is access and affordability. And I'm comfortable with the increase, but as Trustee Mosher said in the past, we have to always be sensitive to the margin when we begin to price ourselves above where we need to be. I'm very comfortable because of the articulation agreements that we have. And basically, you're at a 39%, almost 40% saving of any college and university. I rarely watch the news, but last night, Rice, Texas Christian, Baylor, Houston Christian, all increasing tuition with cost of living increases that's going on. Also, I think just for awareness that we have over 300 plus scholarships through our wonderful scholarship and foundation. So even with the county residency scholarship that's on board in Austin County and Washington County, it can offset these increases. But we always need to be sensitive that we're an affordable college. So just wanted to make those observations.
No, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting to note that on the FAST program, they allowed $1.87 increase, and we're only going up $1. So that I'm sure they've got access to a lot of information that we may not even have access to. So I'm also comfortable with it. Any other questions? Hearing none, I would look for a motion that the board approve tuition and fees for fiscal year 2024-2025.
I move that the board approves tuition and fees for the fiscal year 2024-2025.
Trustee Benke makes the motion. Trustee Ehlert seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to item C in that agenda, request authorization to negotiate and execute a contract for academic building interior renovations on the Blinn Brenham campus. Dr. Burton, I bet you're handing that one off.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, Chairman Colcourse, Dr. Hensley, members of the board. It's a pleasure being in front of you again this morning. I'm here to present to you agenda item 6C. This is a request that the board authorize administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Shellback Construction for interior renovations at the academic building here on the Blinn Brenham campus. To just kind of break down what we're looking to do here, the academic building, it's one of our workhorse buildings. And of course, it could be around for a couple more years. So we want to do a little bit of an interior finish upgrade in the corridors, repaint some walls, replace some ceiling tiles, and replace some lighting in the corridors. So that's what we're planning to do with this project, excuse me. So on March 6th, the college district received 3 proposals in response to our request for proposal for general contractor services. A committee reviewed those proposals, and based on the committee's recommendation, the administration recommends that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Shellback Construction for $145,471 for these general contractor services. Now, Shellback Construction has committed in their proposal that they would begin this project this summer after the students leave in May, and that they would be done in August of 2024. And this is budgeted through the FY24 R&R projects. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Mark, have
Yes,
we?
sir.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had a question.
Trustee Mosier?
I think we've discussed in the past that building, there was some discussion that that building might be one that would be replaced.
Yes, sir. It is in the master plan to be replaced down the road.
So my question is, I mean, is this going to satisfy a long-term solution, or is this going to be
This is really just kind of a touch-up for the finishes. I think the long-term plan would be to replace it in the master plan with a new academic building. This is trying to give our students a nicer look in the building until we can get to that project in the master plan.
Give me an example of how to make it look better for the students.
Well, it's very similar to some projects we've been doing on the Bryan campus for years, to where we've been putting new flooring, repainting walls, putting new ceiling tiles in. If you were to go into the academic building right now, you'll notice that we really haven't done any kind of interior finishes. Really, it's original to the building in those hallways. We haven't put much money into repainting the walls or replacing the lights. And so this would just be something that we would do for the students to make those hallways a little bit nicer until we can get to that new academic building that's planned in the master plan.
Thank you.
Trustee Kettler?
I'm simply going to ask, have we used Shellback before? Are we familiar with that particular group?
We have not. This is the first opportunity we've had with Shellback. They've been coming after projects with Blinn aggressively. They are a local Brenham company. As they're new to us, we've done some due diligence on them, checked with their references, and checked on all of their proposal. And so we're excited about the opportunity to bring a new contractor on, and they by their pricing, have been very aggressive on this. And so we're interested in doing new business with a new contractor.
Question and comment. So the question is there any recourse if they don't get that completed by the time school starts? As you said, that's a workhorse building, and we really need this thing done and completed.
There are liquidated damages in the project, but we also very much coordinate with them. Part of their proposal is their plan on how they will get it done within the summer, and their plan actually shows it being done well before the August timeframe. So we feel comfortable with that. Okay. And we'll work with them. If we have to mitigate anything, we can work with them, but we feel very comfortable with the proposal that they put together.
Okay. And the comment is, I think we need to do this. This is a building that's used all the time, but I would like to see us rethink the demolishing of this building and replacing, I guess, what we talked about in our master plan at some point in time. I know it's not time or the place to talk about that, but this is such an important building, I think, for this campus, and to replace it, I know you talked about moving those classes and students in other buildings, but I just think that we need to try to keep this building and keep it as good as we can. So I'm definitely for this.
Understood. And I believe we might have a meeting coming up that we could talk about that more.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Very good. Any other questions? Okay. In that case, I would look that the board, look for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Sailback Construction, LLC, for interior finish upgrades in the academic building on the Blinn Brenham campus.
Chair Colcorst, I make a motion that we authorize to negotiate and execute the contract for the academic building interior renovations.
Trustee Kettler makes a motion. Trustee Krausen seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, last item on the agenda here is request authorization to negotiate and execute a contract for fire alarm replacement at Wheeler Hall on the Blinn Brenham campus.
Yes, sir. Thank you again.
Yes, sir.
So this is a request that the board authorize administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Herman Alarms, LLC, for general contractor services related to fire alarm upgrades in Wheeler Hall. On March 6th, the College District received two proposals in response to our request for proposals for general contractor services. Again, a committee reviewed these proposals, and based on the scores from that committee, the administration recommends that the board authorize administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Herman Alarms, LLC, for $146,600 for general contractor services related to these fire alarm upgrades. Just to give you a little background, this was necessitated by a code change. So this is something that's been driven a little bit out of our hands, but we need to replace these to maintain current code. Herman Alarms has indicated an anticipated completion date for these upgrades by August of 2024, again, so we can have it ready for students, and we have coordinated with housing for this project. This project is funded out of the FY24 R&R budget as well. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions? Okay, I would look for a motion that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Herman Alarms LLC for fire alarm upgrades in Wheeler Hall on the Blinn Brenham campus.
So moved.
Trustee Wells makes the motion. Trustee Ehlert seconds. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is executive session, and I don't think we are having an executive session today, so I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Trustee Kettler, I'll take your motion on this one. All right, there you go. Trustee Mosier seconds. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. It is 10:50 a.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you.